A good 3 years have passed since the Tunisian revolution. Today we're free, but the problem of torture has not gone away.
We are in the worst situation for human rights since I used to work as a lawyer more than 25 years.
My husband has spent the past 3 years in a Syrian prison. They tortured him for the first 9 months.
The Arab Spring has not turned to summer. Hopes of freedom and democracy have been dashed. For the winners of the 2011 Roland Berger Human Dignity Award, what that means is that their courageous dedication to the cause of human rights has not got any easier, and is now more important than ever. How are the 2013 award winners getting on with their fight for women's rights in Asia?
Violence against women is no longer an issue that much silence is maintained over. The silence has been broken.
The international community has turned away from Afghanistan. We can feel that. We're afraid that progress in women's rights is going backwards and that the Taliban is regaining ground.
For the first time yesterday, the Prime Minister of Pakistan said there will be no good or bad Taliban. The reason he said it is because there were good and bad Taliban. I mean, it's like saying good terrorist and good killer and a bad killer.
When Asma Jahangir welcomed us in Pakistan last December to show us how she had used the award money, the country was mourning the 130 school children from Peshawar who had been brutally murdered by the Taliban the day before.
There was a funeral prayer for the departed souls of the martyred children. And there was this question brought up whether female lawyers should take part in the funeral or not, which normally doesn't happen. And then we were told you can then go in the last row. And they said, no, we are in the first row. And we were in the first row. It was for the first time that it has happened in public. And would you imagine that out of fear, that footage was not shown on television? If you want to break Talibanization, you have to break the mentality of Talibanization. And this is one of the actions that is breaking mentalities.
Asma Jahangir's latest project also aims to change people's mindsets. She's using the prize money to establish a radio station for women. The radio station is scheduled to go on air in 2015, broadcasting nationwide for 3 hours a day. Illiterate women in rural areas of Pakistan are the main target audience. Many of them are not aware of their rights and have to submit to patriarchal traditions. Asma Jahangir donated another portion of the prize money to the Dastak Women's Shelter, which she co-founded herself many years ago.
I came here due to my husband's violence, and he is not a good man for me.
In this shelter home, there are women who are battered who have come. There are women whose lives are at risk that come there. Women who have been implicated in false criminal cases and need protection because their families are not helping them.
I am not a strong woman, but after came in a shelter, I got a lot of confidence.
Self-confidence and a voice. That is what Asma Jahangir gives many women in Pakistan and beyond. From Pakistan to India, here too, women are now demanding their rights, loudly and self-confidently. Our award-winning organisation Jaggery has a lot to do.
The numbers of women survivors who come to us has increased by more than 30%. So to that extent, it is putting a lot of pressure on us.
To be able to help the growing number of women, Jaggery is using its prize money to build a new floor on top of its office. In the future, victims will be able to receive not only legal assistance, but also psychological and medical care. The women are especially proud of their latest project. Kalpana Viswanath introduces it to us.
we've developed an app called Safety Pin, which actually can do much wider set of audits since it is crowdsourced. So in the past 1 year in Delhi, for example, we have more than 6,000 audits. That's right. Security is minimal, no?
Moderate.
Women can use the app to locate themselves on the map and assess how safe it is in that part of the city. This evening, the women's rights campaigners are examining the safety situation at a very particular spot. This is the bus stop where a young student got on the bus exactly 2 years ago on December the 16th, 2012. Minutes later, she was brutally raped. She did not survive. Since then, December the 16th has been a day of remembrance for all women in India. Having assessed the safety situation along the bus route today, their conclusion is that many areas of Delhi remain dangerous for women at night, but measurable progress has been made. Cairo, 4 years on from the protests in Tahrir Square. Anyone expressing an opinion in Egypt is still living dangerously. Hundreds of members of the Muslim Brotherhood have been sentenced to death. Thousands of opposition activists are languishing in jail. The media has been censored. Gamal Aid and his team operate by far the most important Arabic language website on human rights issues. Only the websites run by Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have more users around the world.
We have many times attack from government. We see that like logic result. You fight against the dictatorship, they will defamate you and maybe arrest you. But we are here, there is thousands and thousands people, they will continue.
These children are hopefully going to take a stand for freedom and democracy one day. Gamal Aid has set up libraries for them in 5 slums in the capital, Cairo, because education should be available to all. Known as Dignity Libraries, the Roland Berger Human Dignity Award is what made them possible. Gamal Aid has even managed to bring his own award into being, the first ever for human rights activists in Egypt. It rewards the bravery of all those who stand up for human rights, even under the most difficult of circumstances. Compared with Egypt, the people of Tunisia can be proud of how far they've come in the past 4 years. But the incipient democracy is threatened by Islamic terrorism, and people are still being tortured, as Raja Nazraoui tells us.
The police force has not been reformed yet, and the justice system is still the same. Even if a prisoner is tortured to death, there are no consequences for the police officer who tortured him.
It's the immunity from prosecution that the police enjoy that many torture victims complain of when they come to Raja Nazraoui. Many of them come with photos documenting signs of the worst imaginable abuse.
Before I received support from the Roland Berger Foundation, I had nothing. No office, no team. I was working on my own. If I wanted to fax something, I had to go and use a public fax machine. I wasted a great deal of time doing that. And now, the difference is immense. I have a team, an address, a phone. Our work is much more powerful as a result.
Due to security concerns, we couldn't visit our award winners in Afghanistan and Syria recently. However, we are in constant touch with them and very pleased to see the successful projects of the Afghan Women's Network. Thanks to their campaigns, which were funded by the prize money, more women cast their vote in the recent elections in Afghanistan than ever before. Our Syrian award winner, Mazen Darwish, doesn't want to use the prize money until he's free. When that will be, nobody knows. But his fellow campaigners remain optimistic.
I don't think Mazen is lost in prison. The regime knows very well that he has a different status from many because he was one of the leading human rights activists in the country and he is well known everywhere in the world. So hope is not gone yet.
Hope of a future in which human rights are respected. That is what unites all of our award winners. Under very difficult conditions, these extraordinary people have shown courage and achieved great things. The Roland Berger Foundation is proud of them. Our support continues.